rains come to India. It's the monsoon season. Fields are flooded, rivers overflow their banks. And all the time, the bloodshed goes on. As the new dominions of Pakistan and India take over their own affairs, communal hatred flares up.
If only the British hadn't looted our country and left in haste. If only they hadn't legitimized communal hatred, misogyny, feudalism, military might, patronage-based politics.
Flee from savagery and butchery that has never been exceeded, even in India's stormy history. 1 million people become refugees overnight.
If only they hadn't divided us to the extent of inducing a genocide.
Pakistan and India each say they are determined.
Crowning moment of these last expectant days has been the arrival of Pakistan's
If
first
only
Governor
Jinnah hadn't
General, Mr.
passed
Jinnah,
away a year
whose
into
leadership has earned
independence.
his followers' deep devotion.
If only the Muslim League had remained united.
Now, in the city of his birth,
a struggle for democracy, a struggle to hold general elections.
If only we had treated Bengalis as equals. If only our military didn't meddle in politics.
With no solution in sight, Sheikh Mujib took over the administration and proclaimed an independent Bangladesh.
मिस्टर भुट्टो की हुकूमत ख़त्म हो चुकी है सारे मुल्क में मार्शल नाफिज कर दिया गया है
I wish I could talk about Pakistan without being called a traitor.
सूबाई गवर्नर और वजीर हटा दिए गए
How do you begin talking about a place that's constantly at war with you, but is also the place where you find refuge when you're at war with yourself? How do you say, yes, this country is always a battleground, but it's also the country that raised me? That I want to get out of here, but also run back to it to be in my mother's arms. That this country isn't safe for women, but is also home to some of the strongest women I know. I parted ways with Pakistan a long time ago, but it still travels with me in the form of guilt, grief. It haunts me into thinking there's something I can do to save it. Like I can fight the state for inflicting torture on those who hold it accountable. Like I can win back the right to express and exist with freedom. The right to criticize systems so fragile that they must take someone's life to protect their power.
Anchor person Ayesha Mir was attacked by gunmen on motorbikes in Karachi.
But even after I escaped, I had a hard time finding somewhere to belong. I felt like I had suddenly become stateless. So I started to keep an eye on home from afar. Try to study and understand it. How we've been through repeated cycles of military and civilian rule, but have never been a purely authoritarian or democratic state. How we're a country that elected the first female prime minister of the Muslim world, but also the country that shot a girl for wanting to go to school. A country that's corrupt to the core, but also the most charitable. A country that can't decide if music is haram or halal, but also produces global hits. I'm so sick of writing academic papers. Sometimes it feels like the world wants us to remain an interesting problem for research. What use is my post-colonial critique, my subversion, if at the end of the day I need to escape to the West to find refuge? All of this makes me think I'm part of the problem. Like I'm always turning my people and their plight into a subject for a research paper. But Pakistan never lets me go. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night in anticipation of bad news. I quickly check my dad's last scene on WhatsApp. And then I begin to wonder, maybe my interest in Pakistan comes from a place of resentment. I grew up under bans, censorships, interrogations, life threats. But I also grew up listening to resistance poetry. The chant of Azadi, the call to freedom. And I haven't stopped hearing it since I was a little girl, holding my mom's hand in a protest led by my dad, who was banned from TV for being too critical of the military dictatorship. I hear it in the wails of the Baloch women when their fathers and brothers and sons go missing. In the eyes of orphan children of journalists who lost their lives in the line of duty. It's the word that echoes in every valley of Kashmir. Sometimes I wonder why my dad keeps living in a country that almost took his life, that took away his father, where my mom has to spend sleepless nights on the prayer mat praying for our safety, where my grandmother didn't find peace even after hiding underneath dead bodies to come here. And then I ask myself the same question. How do I continue to romanticize a place where I don't feel safe? How do I resent a place so much but literally carry it with me everywhere I go? It took being thousands of miles away to realize that maybe Pakistan isn't a place, it's a feeling. It's a constant nostalgia for a place you keep wanting even if it doesn't want you. I guess it's hard to give up when you finally understand why it's broken.